Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. There's something about the smell of roasting turkey, the warmth of family, and the promise of a long, lazy evening that makes November feel special. Last year, my parents decided to host Thanksgiving at our old family home in rural Pennsylvania. It was the first time in years that everyone would be together: my parents, my sister and her husband, my uncle and aunt, and even my grandmother, who rarely left her apartment anymore. I arrived early to help my mom in the kitchen. The house was already filled with the scent of cinnamon and sage, and the table was set with our best china. My dad was outside raking leaves, and my sister was upstairs getting her kids ready. Everything felt normal until the doorbell rang. It was still early, and we weren't expecting anyone. My mom wiped her hands on her apron and went to answer the door. I heard her greet someone, her voice cheerful but uncertain. When she returned, she was followed by a man I didn't recognize. He was tall, thin, with pale skin and dark hair slicked back. He wore a brown suit that looked a little too big for him, and he carried a battered leather suitcase. "This is Mr. Avery," my mom said, forcing a smile. "He's an old friend of your father's. He'll be joining us for dinner." My dad came in from the yard, his face tight. Shook Mr. Avery's hand. But there was something off about the way he looked at him, like he was trying to remember where they'd met. Mr. Avery smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. As the afternoon went on, the rest of the family arrived. My uncle cracked jokes, my aunt fussed over the kids, and my grandmother sat quietly in her chair, watching everything with sharp eyes. Mr. Avery made polite conversation, but he never really joined in. He just sat at the edge of the living room, hands folded on his suitcase, watching us. When dinner was ready, we all gathered around the table. My dad carved the turkey, my mom poured wine, and everyone took turns sharing what they were thankful for. When it was Mr. Avery's turn, he paused for a long time before saying, "I'm thankful for old friends and for the kindness of strangers." His voice was soft, almost a whisper. As we ate, I noticed strange things. Mr. Avery never touched his food. He just moved it around his plate, occasionally lifting a fork to his mouth, but never actually eating. When my little niece tried to sit next to him, he gently moved her to another chair. My grandmother kept glancing at him, her eyes narrowing. After dinner, we moved to the living room for dessert. My mom brought out pumpkin pie, and my dad made coffee. Mr. Avery excused himself and went upstairs. I watched him go, feeling a chill run down my spine. Something about him made my skin crawl. While Mr. Avery was gone, my grandmother leaned over and whispered, "Who is that man?" My dad shook his head. "I thought he was your friend," he said. My mom looked confused. "He said he knew you from work." My uncle shrugged.
"I've never seen him before."
We heard footsteps on the stairs. Mr. Avery returned, his suitcase still in hand. He sat down and smiled at us, but the room felt colder. My niece started to cry, saying she wanted to go home. My mom tried to comfort her, but she wouldn't stop sobbing. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Mr. Avery, about the way he watched us, the way he never ate, the way he seemed to know things about our family that we'd never told him. I got up to get a glass of water and found him sitting in the dark kitchen, staring out the window. He turned to me and smiled. "It's a beautiful night," he said. "So many stars." I nodded, unsure what to say. He stood up, picked up his suitcase, and walked past me. As he passed, I felt a wave of cold air, and the lights flickered. I watched as he walked out the front door, closing it softly behind him. In the morning, my mom found a note on the kitchen table. It was written in neat, old-fashioned handwriting. "Thank you for your hospitality. I hope you remember me." My dad called the local hotels, but no one had checked in under the name Avery. My uncle drove around the neighborhood, but there was no sign of him. We tried to forget about it, but strange things kept happening. My niece started talking to someone in her room at night, saying the man with the suitcase was telling her stories. My grandmother grew ill, muttering about old debts and unfinished business. My mom found her wedding ring missing, and my dad's watch stopped working. A week later, we received a letter in the mail. There was no return address, just a single sentence. "I'll see you next Thanksgiving. This year." As Thanksgiving approaches, my family is on edge. We set the table for one extra guest, just in case. Every night, I dream of Mr. Avery, standing at the end of the driveway, suitcase in hand, waiting for the door to open. My niece still talks to him in her sleep, and my grandmother's health is failing. If you ever have an unexpected guest at your holiday table, be careful. Some visitors are looking for more than a meal. Some are searching for something they lost, or for someone who owes them a debt. Would you dare to invite a stranger in, knowing what might follow? Some guests never leave, and some holidays are never the same. If you've ever had a guest you couldn't explain, or a holiday that ended in fear, share your story below. Maybe you'll help someone else recognize the signs before it's too late. And if you hear a knock at your door this Thanksgiving, think twice before you answer. Some invitations are forever.